Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Family Sedan channel. Crypto markets went back to fear on the Crypto Fear and Greed Index for the first time in I don't know how long, but it seems it's been months. That just happened. Although I will say, since prices, at least over the last roughly, I don't know, call it 5 or 6 hours, at least as of the time of recording this, been a little bit of a recovery. And since the Crypto Fear and Greed Index updates once every 24 hours, it has jumped up a little bit back to neutral, but we did see up to that point that for the first time in a long time, markets went back to, to fear, and with Bitcoin dropping into the 24,000s. XRP took a dip along with it as well. And so, is it time to worry? I mean, look at the headline on the Crypto Basic here. XRP breaks below crucial support points. Here's what's next. Ooh, so ominous. So should we worry? Well, I can only tell you my personal opinion, which is absolutely not, but there's a huge reason, and I'm going to focus on this in this video. It gives me confidence to hold my XRP, which is my largest crypto holding by a fair bit, largest individual crypto holding. But it gives me confidence to hold crypto in general. There's been a development today, and it's something that I was talking about last year in August. And I tell you, if this doesn't instill confidence in you and alleviate any fear that you may have, I don't know how to help you, son. So, gather around the fire, children. It's story time with Uncle Moon Family Sedan. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say are right. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. And by the way, I'm going to be hopping right into the main portion here, the main dish right towards the beginning part of the video, so you ain't going to have to wait. But first, I want to note XRP at the time I'm recording this, 47 cents. Bitcoin is back up a bit, 25,474 bucks. Market cap a hair over $1 trillion. Bitcoin dominance 47.39%. A Crypto Fear and Greed Index at 47, indicating neutral. But literally, right before that, yesterday, 41 out of 100 indicating fear for the first time in a long time. And that shouldn't be too surprising given the degree to which Bitcoin dipped. That's always going to cause a bit of fear and the panic selling and this and that. But I've been saying ever since I launched this channel, look at what the big money is doing. And don't even necessarily listen to what they're saying, because frequently what you find with big institutions and big banks, they'll tell you how horrible crypto is, but then inevitably they all end up jumping in, and such is the case here. And this is a monster of a development. Here's the headline from Decrypt. BlackRock files Bitcoin ETF application with the SEC. Just to be clear here, BlackRock, that's the largest asset manager on the entire planet. Trillions and trillions and trillions of assets under management. And they were against crypto until suddenly they became for it. And so I shared with you these types of headlines, which are now on your screen. I'm going to highlight just a few. I don't need to read through the articles just to make the point and get everybody caught up to speed here. I covered this at the time. August 4th, 2022 from TechCrunch. BlackRock hops on Bitcoin bandwagon with new Coinbase tie-up. But that's not the only headline. Here's one from August 11th, 2022. BlackRock offers Bitcoin investing to big institutional clients. Here's another one from Barron's. BlackRock launches a Bitcoin trust. What it means for crypto and the stock. So again, I covered all that news just like everybody else did in August. But one of the things that I stated was that BlackRock, with this move, in fact, the one that's being cited by Barron's on your screen right here, this launching of the Bitcoin trust, that was a signal right there that they would end up pushing for a spot Bitcoin ETF, which does require SEC approval. And I'll explain why that is of crucial importance in just a moment here. But first, I want to note, BlackRock, they, and I'm so glad that I covered this, because you can go back to my videos at the time. I was saying that this is what was going to happen. In all likelihood, I firmly believed it. I said it in multiple videos around this time period. BlackRock launching a Bitcoin trust, they were copying Grayscale's business model. Grayscale, of course, launched a Bitcoin trust. They were the first one to do so in the United States. And they've been trying to get a spot Bitcoin ETF. They ended up suing the SEC, and so that's still going on because the SEC just won't approve it. And so I said back in August, what will happen in all probability, my speculation, was that BlackRock would ultimately be the first, because look, they're copying Grayscale's business model. They didn't pioneer this, but they're moving forward with it. And then they'd ultimately try and convert that Bitcoin trust into a spot Bitcoin ETF. And the reason that I believe that was the case was because somebody gave me a little heads up on that. And I would love to give this individual credit in this video right now, but this was said in confidence, and I don't currently have permission to divulge the identity, although if he's listening, he knows who he is because there's just one of you out there. And I'd be happy to give credit in a future video. But this guy has been in crypto for over a decade. He actually works in finance, and he told me, because he knows people who knows people, he has contacts at Grayscale, for example, and so he knew through the grapevine that BlackRock was making this move. In fact, he gave me the heads up that BlackRock was going to be jumping into crypto before it was in the headlines. And so I knew that ahead of time, and I think I talked about it on the channel. I probably did. That's reaching a bit because it's been so long. I think I did. And then, so now what we have here is what I was told was likely to happen is happening. It's the Bitcoin spot ETF. And this is of the utmost importance because, look, you're talking about a time where we're coming out of the depths of a bear market. And yeah, it's been overall mostly a good first half of 2023. But in the scheme of things, it's not that far out from the bottom in November of last year. And so there's all sorts of people that they're sitting on the sidelines, and there are so many more people and institutions that will jump in, and just trillions of dollars will ultimately flow into the space. And for the people who are here right now, congratulations, because it might be for some of y'all equivalent to winning the damn lottery with the amount of money that's going to flow in. So isn't it kind of funny? As everything's doomsday style and the market just went into fear, what do we see? BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, jumping in this way? It's not just a Bitcoin trust anymore. They're pushing for a spot Bitcoin ETF. And it's not a guarantee that the SEC will approve it, but the whole theory has been the people of BlackRock are the most connected people basically on the entire damn planet. And so it's going to get approved. That's the theory. Now, of course, if that happens, that looks really slimy on the surface at a minimum, doesn't it? At a minimum, the optics are bad. We can agree on that probably. And this is consequential because when you're talking about a spot Bitcoin ETF, you're talking about a fund that could be traded on the likes of like NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange, and it requires... it would require BlackRock, if they get approved, to hold the actual Bitcoin. So if they're holding it, then it won't be on an exchange for you to buy. And then it opens up doors for all sorts of people, especially if they're not in crypto, to get some exposure to the crypto asset class with an account they already have open with their broker on the New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ, like I just said. So you're going to substantially, if this happens, substantially increase demand. And again, it's through the world's largest asset manager. So whatever you think of BlackRock, I'm not going to get into whether they're a good or bad company. That's far outside the scope of this video, although an interesting topic. But the consequences are gigantic. And so I'm sitting here holding my XRP, and I'm looking at the end of the SEC v. Ripple lawsuit, which I think is going to be positive for XRP. Don't know for sure. Could be bad. Could be a train wreck. I'm very optimistic, though. We've got this coming out of a bear market. You have BlackRock jumping in, and they would not do this if they didn't think it was going to make them an absolute fortune. Wouldn't be surprised if the ETF for BlackRock is the first approved. No guarantees, but would not be the least bit surprised if this does come, because that's the strategy. It's been the strategy, like when I was saying it close to a year ago, obviously. That's why I really wish I could give my contacts some credit here. I always like to give credit where it's due here. But I just, when somebody converses with me, privately, then I like to, keep it private unless I have permission to divulge information. But look, the entire crypto asset class moves in tandem. So when you're talking about the ramifications from this, Bitcoin going up as a result of demand, because there's only so much Bitcoin and there's actually not that much available on exchanges right now. And then you're talking about that much, and we're coming out of the bear market, all this. What's that going to mean for XRP and every other altcoin? Because the altcoins, I strongly believe that so many of them are going to substantially outperform Bitcoin in terms of a multiplier effect because and it's a no-brainer, right? You understand why. There's so much money in Bitcoin right now to get it to just double or triple or quadruple. Not that it can't, but it takes way more money flowing in than the amount of money that would need to flow in to XRP to get it to double or triple or quadruple. So that's why the idea of, like a $10 XRP, I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm not making a price prediction. XRP could go to zero for all I know. I do not know. But the idea of $10 XRP does not seem remotely unreasonable. The idea of XRP prices much, much higher than that doesn't seem remotely crazy to me. But this is exciting. So check this out. BlackRock is offering its first ever, this is from Bloomberg, by the way. Or no, I'm sorry, that's the old one. Let me go to the Decrypto. This is the new one. Sorry, guys. So again, the headline here, BlackRock files Bitcoin ETF application with the SEC. So this just happened today. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, filed an application on Thursday afternoon to register a spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund, or ETF, with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. The move was anticipated earlier in the day due to a report from CoinDesk suggesting that a filing was imminent. BlackRock, which had $9.5 trillion in assets under management in the first quarter of 2023, is working together with Coinbase, the largest U.S. cryptocurrency exchange. The ETF would use Coinbase custody for the ETF and rely on the exchange's spot market data for pricing, while BNY Mellon will be the cash custodian. BlackRock previously sealed a partnership with Coinbase last August to enable clients using BlackRock's investment management platform, Aladdin, to possess and trade in digital assets, starting with Bitcoin. The deal gives BlackRock clients access to Coinbase's trading, custody, prime brokerage, and reporting services. Yeah, so I'll just note here, the only thing that's a little bit curious to me about this whole thing, somebody's got some perspective on this that could shed light on this, that I would love to hear it. Given that the SEC is attacking Coinbase and BlackRock is counting on Coinbase, what's actually going on here? What's the game plan here? Because BlackRock is well aware of the situation with Coinbase. They're moving forward with this, and Coinbase is a key partner for them. What does that mean? Obviously, they don't think this is a doomsday thing for Coinbase. They're counting on greener pastures, aren't they? So, all that to say, if you're worried at all, I'm just telling you that the smartest and richest people on the entire damn planet are not fearful, and they're excited that they are getting in before most people have had a chance, or have. I mean, everybody technically has a chance, but before most people have. It's only, something like 4% of humans on the planet have ever purchased any crypto at any point in time. And now BlackRock's jumping in. If you look at it like that, BlackRock's early. I know crypto's been around 14 years. BlackRock's still early. This is a crazy world, is it not? So the SEC doing disgusting things, it looks like. Just crushing every other ETF, whether it's Gemini or Grayscale, you name it. There's been all sorts of ETFs sought and ultimately denied by the SEC. So it'd just be ridiculous seeing that BlackRock copied Grayscale with the Bitcoin Trust. They literally copied the business model. Grayscale first went to get an ETF before BlackRock, and now they didn't get it, and so they sued the SEC. And now, if BlackRock, having now officially filed for an ETF, if they get it after Grayscale being denied, after hijacking that business model, hot damn. If I were the Grayscale folks, I'd be pissed off. It just seems so freaking slimy, doesn't it? And as bad as it is, and it certainly is, especially for Grayscale, it's still good for XRP holders and crypto in general, as far as I can tell. You show me the downside of any of this, but that's what's coming. So that's what I wanted to say in this video. That's it. Because I know that I saw that there was fear, and finally it just ticked up out of to neutral, which isn't exactly greed mode yet. And then I'm seeing this gigantic news break, which I was talking about roughly a year ago, and it comes to pass. So my contact has been spot on to this point. He was right saying BlackRock's going to get in, and then a couple months later, they did get in. And then he said, hey, here's the word through the grapevine. They're just copying Grayscale's business model, and then they're going to file for an ETF. Well, they filed for the ETF. BlackRock has. Happened today. Now, the question is, are they going to get it? Well, I'll just say that I don't know, but I would be surprised if they filed for the ETF. If they're truly that connected, I'd be surprised if they'd file for the ETF if they didn't already know the damn answer. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Family Sedan.